It was supposed to be just one day. One simple favor. Emily never imagined that stepping in for her sick sister would lead her into the heart of a story that would change her view of life, love, and kindness forever. Because sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness open doors we never even knew existed. Hey there, everyone! Welcome back to your channel name, where real stories touch hearts and remind us that kindness still matters. If you enjoy emotional and inspiring stories like this one, make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment to share your thoughts. Your support helps us keep spreading hope, love, and humanity one story at a time. Now, let's begin. Emily Parker was 26, juggling 2 part-time jobs, trying to pay off student loans, and helping her younger sister Lily, who worked as a nanny for a little boy named Noah. It was a rainy Thursday morning when Lily woke up sick with a fever. Her voice was barely a whisper as she called Emily. I can't make it today, can you please fill in for me? Just one day. I already told Mr. Lawson I'd find someone. Emily hesitated. She had a shift at the bookstore later that afternoon, but something in her sister's voice, weak and pleading, made her agree. Okay, she sighed, I'll do it. Just text me the address. A few hours later, Emily found herself standing in front of a large modern house on a quiet suburban street. The kind of place that looked like it belonged in a home design magazine: glass doors, a wide porch, and a perfectly manicured lawn. She took a deep breath and rang the bell. Moments later, the door opened, and there he was, Mr. Lawson. Tall, maybe mid-30s, dark hair slightly messy, wearing a crisp shirt rolled at the sleeves. But it wasn't his appearance that stood out most, it was the tiredness behind his eyes. The kind of exhaustion that comes from carrying too much alone. You must be Lily's sister, he said, his tone polite but distant. Come in. Emily nodded nervously and stepped inside. The house was beautiful but strangely quiet. She could hear faint cartoon sounds from the living room where a little boy, maybe 4 years old, was sitting cross-legged on the rug, surrounded by building blocks. Noah, Mr. Lawson said gently, this is Emily. She's going to play with you today. The boy looked up with big blue eyes and smiled shyly. Hi. Something about that little voice melted Emily's nerves. She smiled back. Hi, buddy. Whatcha building there? An airplane, he said proudly. But it keeps crashing. Well, Emily said, kneeling beside him, maybe I can help you make one that actually flies. Mr. Lawson gave a small smile, barely noticeable, and disappeared into his office. The morning went by quickly. Emily and Noah built towers, drew messy rainbows, and laughed when the paper airplanes hit the walls instead of flying. It was simple, joyful, and pure. Around lunchtime, Noah looked up suddenly and asked, Miss Emily, do you know where Mommy went? The question caught her off guard. She hesitated, unsure how to answer. Before she could say anything, Mr. Lawson appeared in the doorway. His expression softened for a second before he knelt beside his son. Mommy's watching over us from heaven, remember? Noah nodded quietly and went back to coloring. Emily's heart sank. She didn't know. In that moment, the pieces fit together, the exhaustion in Mr. Lawson's eyes, the silence in the house, the way he watched Noah from a distance like he was afraid to break. That afternoon, while Noah napped, Emily offered to make lunch. You don't have to do that, Mr. Lawson said, surprised. It's fine, she said, smiling gently. It's just grilled cheese and soup. My mom used to make it when we were kids. He hesitated, then nodded. Thank you. As she cooked, they talked a little. His name was James Lawson, founder of a tech startup that had recently sold for millions. But he didn't talk about that part. He talked about how hard it was to raise Noah alone after his wife passed away 2 years ago. How work had kept him busy, but nights were the hardest. Emily listened quietly. Sometimes, people didn't need advice, they just needed to be heard. You're doing great, you know, she said softly. Noah's a happy kid. That means something. He looked at her, genuinely surprised. No one's ever said that to me before. By the time Lily texted that evening to thank her for filling in, Emily had already grown fond of the boy and, unexpectedly, of the quiet man who clearly loved his son more than anything. When she said goodbye, Noah hugged her tightly. "Come back tomorrow?" She smiled. "Maybe someday." As she walked to her car, James followed her outside. "Thank you," he said simply. "You were kind. It's been a while since this house felt that way." Emily blushed slightly. "It was just one day." "Sometimes," he said, "one day makes a difference." A week passed. Emily went back to her usual routine, shelving books, running errands, and checking on Lily. But she couldn't stop thinking about Noah's giggle or the quiet sadness in James's eyes. Then one afternoon, her phone buzzed. It was Lily. Mr. Lawson asked for you. He said Noah's been asking when you're coming back." Emily froze. "Me? But I'm not even a nanny." "He doesn't care," Lily said, laughing. "He said you made them both smile. You should go." So, she did. That second visit turned into another. Then another. Before long, Emily was spending her weekends with Noah, baking cookies, visiting parks, reading bedtime stories. James began joining them more often, watching quietly at first, then laughing, relaxing, even teasing Emily when she burned the cookies. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't a movie moment. But it was real. Slowly, kindness turned into trust. Trust turned into friendship. And friendship became something neither of them expected. One evening, months later, as snow began to fall outside, Emily found herself sitting by the fireplace with Noah asleep in her lap. James walked in, holding 2 mugs of cocoa. He sat beside her, watching his son. "You've changed this house, Emily." She smiled. "I just played with him." He shook his head. "No. You brought light back here. After my wife passed, I thought I'd never feel that again." Emily looked at him, unsure what to say. Then he whispered, "You remind me what kindness looks like." Tears welled in her eyes. "You don't owe me anything, James. I just wanted to help." He smiled gently. "That's exactly why it means everything." Months turned into a year. Emily never planned to stay, but love has a way of surprising those who least expect it. James eventually asked her to stay, not just as a nanny, but as part of their family. It wasn't about money, or the mansion, or the success. It was about 2 lonely hearts that found warmth and kindness, and a little boy who finally had laughter echoing through the hallways again. Years later, Emily would look back and realize that her life changed the day she said yes to a simple favor. One act of kindness, stepping in for her sister, led her to a family she didn't know she needed. And that's the beautiful thing about kindness. It never comes back empty. It plants seeds, sometimes in the quietest moments, that grow into something far greater than we ever imagined. So, if you ever get the chance to do something kind, do it. Hold the door open. Lend a hand. Listen. Because you never know what hearts you might touch, or what doors it might open for you, too. Thank you for watching today's story on your channel name. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes in the power of kindness. And remember, sometimes, one small act of kindness can change everything.